There is absolutely no proof at all that humans are carnivorous or omnivorous. I mean, there is no proof at all. What are some obvious proofs that humans are not carnivorous or omnivorous? Well, one, humans don't even eat like carnivores or omnivores. If humans were carnivores or omnivores, they would eat like carnivores or omnivores. And no human has ever eaten like a carnivore or omnivore. Even if you go to these remote third world countries, if you go into the jungles where people are hunter-gatherers, not even they eat like carnivores or omnivores. They'll be running through the jungle with their bow and arrow or poisonous darts or whatever they're using. They'll kill an animal and then they'll take it back to base. When they take it back to base so everyone can eat, what do? They start a fire. Why? Because they can't eat the animal's flesh like a carnivore or omnivore. It's impossible for humans to eat like carnivores or omnivores. Of all the idiots and morons out there that hunt animals for sport, I've never seen one of them immediately start eating the animal after they kill it. That's what carnivores and omnivores do. They don't take it to the butcher. They don't start a fire. So that's just one obvious proof that humans are not carnivores or omnivores. They don't eat like carnivores or omnivores. They eat like mentally ill people that are confused, that don't know what the fuck they are. Another obvious proof that humans are not carnivores or omnivores. They don't like the way meat look. They don't like the way meat tastes. What they call meat. Our meat is fruit. They think our meat is the flesh of other animals. That's meat for carnivores, for omnivores, which we are not. See, when I eat fruit, I don't have to change the way it tastes because I love the way it tastes. I don't have to add anything to it. You know, if I eat an apple, I don't have to add salt and pepper and sugar and all kind of shit and sauce to an apple to make it taste good so I can eat it because I love the way it naturally tastes. Same thing with a mango, a peach, a plum, a cantaloupe, a honeydew, a watermelon, strawberries, blueberries, bananas, durian. Carnivores and omnivores, they don't add seasoning. They don't add spices. They don't add plants. They don't add anything to the meat they eat because they love the way it tastes. They're not draining the blood and discarding it. They're not trimming the fat and discarding it because they love the way it all tastes. Humans don't like the way it tastes. Humans don't even like the sight of blood. Like, come on. How the fuck you a carnivore or omnivore, you don't even like the sight of blood? They don't even like the way it look. That's why by the time humans get done, you know, they kill the animal and, you know, all the processing involved. And when it's in the grocery store, it don't even look like an animal no more. They don't want it to look like an animal. A carnivore or omnivore, when they eat, the animal they eat looks like an animal the entire time. You can tell exactly what animal they're eating. Humans, you don't know what the fuck they're eating. They don't want it to look like an animal because they're not carnivores or omnivores. It would gross them out. If someone went to a restaurant and ordered a chicken sandwich and there was just a little baby chick on a bun that was still alive, they're not eating that. It's going to gross them out. They might look at the little baby chicken and think, oh, he's so cute, and want to keep it. as a pet. A carnivore, omnivore gonna eat it. They don't want animal flesh to taste like animal flesh. They don't want meat to taste like meat. They want it to taste like something else. They don't like it. That's why you have herbs. That's why you have spices. That's why you have seasonings. That's why you have sauces and bastings and all these different techniques to make meat taste like something other than meat, because humans don't like it. How the fuck are you a carnivore, omnivore? You don't even like the way meat tastes. Motherfuckers are just stupid. If humans were really carnivores or omnivores, grocery stores would just be selling live animals. And if a person wanted chicken for dinner, they would just go in there, depending on the size of the family, maybe buy a couple chickens. They would be given live chickens. And then they would take the chickens home, maybe put them in a cage or something. And when it was dinner time, everybody would sit at the table and everybody would have their own chicken. Maybe buy some little chicks for the kids. They're going to take that live bird and just bite into it. That's how carnivores and omnivores eat. What humans doing that? What human has ever done that? If humans were carnivores or omnivores, they would be doing the same exact thing. But humans, first they got to kill it. Then they got to, pull out their fancy equipment, their knives and all of that, and they gotta cut it a certain way. They gotta take the feathers off, change the way it look and change the way it tastes so they can eat it, and then they say, I love meat. You're a fucking moron, because it's obvious that you hate the way meat tastes. If you loved the way it tastes, then you wouldn't do nothing to change the way it tastes. You wouldn't cook it, you wouldn't season, you wouldn't put no sauce on it, you wouldn't put it on a bun, you wouldn't put no cheese on it, you wouldn't do nothing to it. There is absolutely no proof, there is zero proof that humans are carnivores and omnivores. And you could go back as long as you fucking want to go back. You go back to the motherfucking caveman days. How did they eat animals? They would kill the animal, they would start a fire, and they would take their primitive tools and cut that animal up. It's the same thing people do today. Not even back then did they just kill an animal like carnivores and omnivores do. Before I get out of here, I'm going to leave you with one more proof that humans are not carnivores or omnivores. No, I'm going to leave you with two more. One, body odor is proof that human beings are not carnivores and omnivores. Nearly everybody on this goddamn planet stink because they want to try to eat like carnivores and omnivores. The deodorant industry is a multi-billion-dollar industry because humans want to try to eat like carnivores and omnivores. Human beings stink so bad that even after bathing with soap and water, they still stink because they want to try to eat like carnivores and omnivores. 2, sickness and disease are proofs that human beings are not carnivores or omnivores. And currently, 2025, March something, around March 20th, last I read, there are over 800 million people worldwide with diabetes. There are over 650 million people worldwide with some form of heart disease. Heart disease is the #1 cause of death globally. Over 100,000 people die from Alzheimer's yearly. People having heart attacks, strokes, and aneurysms, fucking seizures, MS, Parkinson's, liver disease, kidney, on and on and on. Sickness and disease is the proof that human beings are not carnivores or omnivores. Eating the flesh of animals is linked to cancer. Matter of fact, it's classified as a carcinogenic. It's linked to heart disease. It's linked to diabetes. It's linked to Alzheimer's. It's linked to heart attacks, strokes, liver disease, kidney disease, on and on and on. Like, how much goddamn motherfucking proof do you need? Are you that motherfucking addicted? Or are you just that goddamn motherfucking stupid and you just don't give a fuck? Or do you just hate yourself that fucking much and you're just slowly committing suicide? These things are undeniable and they're common sense. You can't be a goddamn carnivore or omnivore if you don't even like the way meat tastes. Talk to y'all soon.